Hello, everybody. Jen Anderson here for today's Top Leaders Live. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, we are talking about how can we make mental health easier for tech teams. And I'm thinking about how sometimes when we're going through life and whatnot, we find ourselves going back to these crazy old habits, these bad habits that are not serving us. And why do we keep doing it? And recently, I was actually talking with a client of mine who was telling me about going back and revisiting some bad habits that happened before and not wanting those to come forward into a new role. And it's becoming burdensome, it's becoming challenging. And is that ever happening to you? Right? Are you ever finding yourself in a situation where you're going like, why do I keep going back and revisiting this stuff? Like I learned the lesson. I know I don't want to be doing this thing. So why do I keep doing it? Right. And so if that's something that keeps hitting you, stay tuned because I've got some stuff here in today's Top Leaders Live that I really think is going to help you out to shed some of that stuff, that heaviness there. And um, so when it comes to these things that keep coming up again, and we're just going, okay, when am I going to learn my lesson? Like, when does this ever finally like stop being a thing, right? And so, if you're in that space, I want to invite you to say, okay, if I can't go back there, there's something still that happens. There's still a trigger, right? So there's some kind of triggering thought, event, person, something is triggering you and it's driving some negative mental response. And so one of the best things that you can do for yourself in this kind of situation is identify what is that trigger, right? So maybe, for example, you're in team meetings and you find yourself getting frustrated because of something that people are doing, and this has been driving you nuts for forever. And so maybe, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example of a client of mine who told me once about how he hated it, how people go on and 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 on. And they would just keep talking and talking and talking and talking. And it was like they were just putting it all out on the table and not giving anybody else a chance to say, okay, well, here's some additional thoughts, right? Like they just kept talking. It's like they felt like nobody could interrupt, all these kinds of things. And it was driving him nuts. And so what was happening is inside of his heart, he was seething. He was just so ticked off. He's like, seriously, I cannot stand this. And so then what was happening is a disdain for that person, an inability to appreciate who that person was and what they had to bring to the table. And so when that stuff is happening and you've got a person on the tech team who just keeps talking and talking and talking without ever stopping, right? Then that's the trigger, right? There's the, oh, okay, this person is going to go off, right? And so you can't shut the person down, right? You need to allow people to talk in meetings and stuff, but perhaps giving them parameters. And so that's what he decided to do. He's like, okay, that person needs to really be able to talk things through, but they're doing it the wrong time. It needs to happen in these other side meetings where there can be the opportunity for ideation and to kind of get into these things. And instead, he's ideating too much with too many people. We got, in essence, too much money that's in this meeting that's not going to make this effective. Okay. And so that was a trigger, was like, oh, okay, here's the thing. So before we have the meeting, let me talk to this guy. Let me get some ideas from him. Let's put together a small group of people that they can ideate together. Right. And so that allowed, then fast forward to the meeting with the bigger group, for that leader to say, okay, okay, we can just enjoy, right? And that person who normally goes off and talks forever and forever and ever, now they're feeling heard. They've got the opportunity to talk what they need to talk through. And it wasn't like that the guy had bad ideas. It's just he would go on and on and on and on and on and never seem to take a breath and not allow other people to talk, right? So then as the leader, I said, okay, I know this guy's going to go on and on. What do we need to do to change this and to shift this? And then it made the staff meetings, the huddles and whatnot, a lot more enjoyable, not only for him, but all the other people as well. And the guy who was historically going on and on and on, he loved it too, because he was getting those opportunities to talk through the things that needed to be talked through in advance. And again, he had good ideas. He just was choosing the wrong time. And so that's an example of, okay, this isn't working. Something needs to change. What's the trigger? Okay, because it keeps coming up again and again, right? So that was a trigger that this guy was going to have these ideas that he wanted to share. So look for those opportunities to pay attention to those trigger. And then another thing is, I notice this a lot where people say, oh, it's so hard. Stuff is hard. It's hard work. If it's not hard, it's not worth doing. Or it's like this constant coming back to it's hard. It's like, wait, time out. Does it really have to be hard? Right? Time out. Like, is this really the thing? Like, does it have to be hard? Maybe it's challenging. Maybe it's a complicated opportunity to solve something, right? And so I'm not just looking for just a different word to come up with hard. I'm just simply saying, how about to help improve the mental health of your tech team? Maybe don't talk about things being hard. Maybe looking at things instead of being an opportunity to grow and to learn. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to come across as like, Pollyanna, hi. That's not what I'm trying to do, okay? What I'm trying to basically say is that in that language of stuff being hard, it can be very triggering for people. And it can be just like, okay, this is going to be hard. So I'm going to walk into this, that it has to be long hours. It's going to have to be so challenging that we're just gonna work way longer than we expected. My life of anything good and fun and joyful with my team, all of it's going away. Everything's just gonna have to be hard. Take that, flip it on its head. I invite you, just flip it on its head and say, what's the easy thing to do here? Try that. So, okay, we got a challenge. Something going on with this. But what's the easy thing to do? Just flip it around, you guys. Try that. And it's amazing how your mind in that moment can go, oh, okay, what's the easy way? And our brains are amazing, right? They come up with so much cool stuff. So tell your brain, what's the simple and easy way to do this? And listen, right? Or ask the team, what's the easy way to handle this? Okay, try that out for size. And it's a quick and simple, easy way to shift that whole mindset, right? That doesn't have to be hard, right? Maybe it could be easy. Okay. And I've heard a lot of tech people say over the years, in the simplicity of things, the easiness of things, it's actually even that much more elegant of a solution, right? So try that one on for size. See if that might help you to ease the stress and that mental health intensity, that negative intensity that can happen in the teams. And then when you find yourself going, okay, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to have a rough time. And in my previous LinkedIn Live, I shared some ideas about like, grab your dog, right? And so I showed you guys Ruby, cute little dog, or go for a workout or a walk, or like do something like, change it up a little bit and get away from your computer. And you might be thinking, I can't get away from my computer. There's so much I have to do. If I leave my computer, then that just means it adds on later. Not necessarily. What if stepping away from your computer might be the smartest thing to do to bring down the negative vibes, to bring down that level of intensity, to bring down the overwhelm? And then what if it's a lot easier at that point without that overwhelm, without that intensity, without those negative vibes, so then maybe be able to find the solution that you're looking for? It's kind of an interesting thought, right? That maybe taking that break. So I highly recommend that you schedule a break in your day. I have to do this as well. I have so much stuff going on. If I don't schedule a half an hour for a lunch break, it doesn't happen. People will get on my calendar and different things will happen. And I have to make sure I schedule that time. Because if I don't, Nobody else is going to do it for me, right? And so, yes, sure, I could be on a Zoom call, having a coaching call with somebody and be eating my food, but I'd rather just focus on them, not have to worry about food dripping down my chin, right? Okay. So just take time. It doesn't have to be a full hour. Just schedule half an hour. Get away from your computer. Go do something. Go for a little walk, right? Or just walk to somewhere else in the house and just change it up a little bit, okay? And that can really help you with having those little mental health breaks that you need throughout the day. And I don't want you to say, well, I'll have a mental health break when it's the weekend, or I'll take a break when we have a family vacation. No, don't do that to yourself. You totally deserve to have little moments along the way. You totally deserve it. You can do this. You totally can. Right? And then the other thing I highly recommend that you do too is, where's my phone? Here's my phone. On your phone, using your note-taking app, whatever app you prefer. I like Evernote. And I love Evernote because I can have it on my phone, and then I can type things in here, and then it synchronizes with my computer, or I can type stuff on my computer and it synchronizes here. But I have an app, I have a note in the app that if I'm struggling and I'm really having a tough day, I already have identified some things that can help lift me up and to change my mood. And so I have songs that are like my theme song, my pick me up song. Some of them are really slow and calm, and others are really like kind of bouncing off of the walls kind of song. Think of like Imagine Dragons' Top of the World kind of song, right? So it's got a lot of pep to it. Okay, and then I have quotes, I have memes, I have links to articles that are really uplifting messages, links to some YouTube videos from some inspiring speakers. Because every once in a while, when I find myself in that just like, I'm just going to burst, right? You think of that emoji where its brain's all, right? And so before I get to that point where I'm just totally losing it, it's like, is there something I can do to help myself? Yes, I can, but you have to decide this in advance. You can't wait until you're in that moment where your brain's like, you have to decide this in advance. Okay, create a little note for yourself in the app. Put those things in there that can help you, so that when you're just about ready to hit that point where you're going to explode, just walk away. And the reason why I have it on my phone is I can take my phone anywhere. I can go for a walk. I can go in the bathroom, for that matter. I can take my phone anywhere. So if it's on my computer, if it's in a notebook or something, that's a lot harder to get quick access to it. But if it's on my phone, take my phone anywhere, and it's super easy to get access to it. Okay, so look at doing some of those things to help yourself as you're looking to really say, okay, how can we make this mental health stuff easier here in the team? Maybe make it as an exercise as a leader to say, you know what, everybody, we're going to take the next 15 minutes in our team meeting and we're going to create a list of the things that are going to help, and each person create something individual, right? So do that. Do it for your people to help them. And that's going to really help them to see, wow, so-and-so really feels like so-and-so has got my back and they want me to do better. And this is a great and easy way to help to change what's going on with that mental health stuff that's going on for your people. And it can really make a difference in the team. And in the end, you get to become that tech leader that everyone wants to work for. If you're looking for more ideas and some more guidance and direction on what you can do to become that tech leader as you're creating that tech team everyone wants to be on, get in touch with me, going to movingforwardsolutions.com. There's a Let's Talk button. You can send a request and we'll get in touch with you so we can talk more about what those solutions might look for you, so that you don't have to keep being in that wash, rinse, repeat, same cycle of always hitting your head against the wall. You don't need it. Your people don't need it. Let's get you the solutions that you need. Go be your best, my friends. Thanks so much for joining me on today's Top Leaders Live. See you soon.